French Trump, the maverick, is again keeping everybody in a schmozzle. He wants to take over Greenland, and he has put fissures in the NATO. His saying is, what is NATO if US is not there? One way he is correct, because without US the NATO is weak. If you see the strength of the armies of the European countries, they are hardly in lakhs, a very minuscule person. Presently, with this divide, the British army, the German army, the French and other countries have started increasing their defense budgets by about 5 to 7%. But then the US defense budget is about 36% of the defense budget of the top 15 countries, because to maintain its supremacy in technology, in military hardware, in other fields, US is spending this amount. And they are bullying around because recently the kidnapping of Maduro and his wife in the mid of the night in their night suits was one of the examples. And then their threatening to Cuba and Colombia that if they don't toe their line, they also will be given the same treatment. But is it the correct way? You can comment it in the box below, because they are sovereign nations. And as per the UN Charter, you cannot be interfering in the activities of any country in this manner by picking up the presidents and prime ministers, or also to take over Greenland, because the country which is taking care of the security of Greenland is Denmark. US threatens that they will take over, and if required, Denmark can try to defend it. One way he is correct, because if Russia and China attack Greenland or use that passage to come through, Denmark may not be able to defend that area. But then, does Trump have the onus to control that area just because he feels US is endangered through that passage by the Russians and the Chinese? So keep watching my video till the end so that I can give you a brief on this complete issue and also a little analysis of the whole fiasco. In the meanwhile, you can try logging on to umadreamfoundation.org, where we have an NGO with the tag for right to education, and please volunteer so that you can help these children see better days. Now going on to my video. During the second presidency of Donald Trump, the US had pursued a campaign to annex Greenland, like I said, which is the part of Kingdom of Denmark and whose citizens are also citizens of the European Union. This has triggered a confrontation between the EU, Denmark, and several NATO members on one side and the US on the other side. Here, Trump again says that when you have not given me the Nobel Peace Prize, why should I bother? And it is not my duty to stop wars, which he had given in his presidential agenda. And recently you would have seen Machado handing over her Peace Prize to Trump, and which shamelessly Trump has taken and hung it in his office, supposedly. So going on, Trump had previously attempted to purchase Greenland during his first presidency with the Danish and Greenlandic governments, stating that Greenland is not for sale. Following continued escalations during 2025 and this year, US actions have been described by many commentators and academics as a form of hybrid warfare, and also US has threatened with his usual tariff war on European nations itself, on the NATO countries itself, because these tariffs are like brahmastras for Mr. Trump, which he keeps throwing at everybody. He tried it at China, it bounced back. He has tried it on India, though India has moderately tried to balance it out by listening to some of Trump's idiosyncrasies but keeping their own identity intact. So since his 2024 re-election, Trump has threatened several times to invade Greenland and promote falsehoods about the island's history and contemporary security. He has expressed disdain for international law and expressed willingness to choose seizing Greenland over preserving NATO. He wants to even break away from NATO, and like I said, he has linked this with his not being awarded a Nobel Prize. The official Danish threat assessment published by the Danish Defense Intelligence Science in 2025 for the first time in its history mentioned the US as a threat to national security along with Russia and China. So the Danish intelligence has warned that Greenland is being targeted by various kinds of influence campaigns by foreign actors which are aligned by Trump. The Greenlandic Prime Minister and the Danish Prime Minister both have rejected claims of US having taken over and have tried to contemplate away any US invasion and have said that they will stand up, and there are some NATO countries who are with them to fight the US, but then it is not practical. Also, there have been large protests in US over trying to taking over of Greenland, because many of the US citizens are also not for it and are also not in sync with Trump's muscle twisting tactics. Though Trump says that his campaign for MAGA, that is Make America Great Again, is working by him trying to be not the big brother but the big bully. Like I will be talking about the US-Iran also, where he has shown lot of interest in the West Asia and has tried to mess up things there. But then here US has to remember that wherever they have put their foot into it, they have put it into their mouth, because in Vietnam and in Afghanistan, after having tried to hold fort there, had to run back because the locals gave them a run for their money. So the ever great US had to bite the dust. So going on to a little background of what Greenland and the problem is. Greenland is basically an autonomous territory in the Kingdom of Denmark and has been associated with the Scandinavian kingdoms of Denmark and Norway for more than a millennium, beginning in 986 AD when Norse settlers from what is now Norway and Iceland settled in Greenland. The 13th century saw the arrival of the Inuits, who are today's majority, and these Greenlanders are basically EU citizens and their families live in Norway and also in Denmark. Greenland became part of Kingdom of Norway in 1261, which then entered a union with Denmark in 1380. Under the Treaty of Kiel, Greenland remained with the Danish crown as part of the settlement with Sweden following Napoleonic Wars. In the Treaty of Danish West Indies, signed in 1916, the US government explicitly recognized Danish sovereignty over Greenland, and Denmark declared full sovereignty over all of Greenland in 1921. In the aftermath of the Treaty of Versailles in 1933, Norway, which had occupied part of eastern Greenland, up till then accepted a ruling of a permanent court of international justice affirming Danish sovereignty over all of Greenland and renounced any of its claim. So this is how Denmark has full control over Greenland, though Greenland has its own government, but the security is Denmark's headache, and US has given sanctity to it. So presently, I or anybody does not see any course where US under Trump can try taking over Greenland, saying that that area is a threat by the Russians or the Chinese. So you can give your thoughts and ideas in the comment box below so that we can carry forward this discussion and see whether Trump is right or wrong. And also, I can help you in learning life skills if you give me a chance. Call me on the number given below and I am there to help you. Jai Hind.